right, y'all. So we are here for keto class. We are here. We are here. So we are talking about cholesterol today. I'm trying to get my screen set right here. So yes, we are talking about cholesterol today, y'all. And I'm talking a little bit deeper than I normally go into cholesterol. So hey, Maria, I see Maria on there. I see Boxer Mom is in here somewhere as well. So thank y'all. Love all St. Louis, Missouri. I missed you. So I got Miss Lucy from Indianapolis. So yes, y'all, thank y'all for popping in. So we are on Clubhouse, we are on TikTok, we are on Facebook, we are on we ain't on Instagram. I should be on Instagram, but I need to get my iPad out so I can be on Instagram at the same time too, right? So we are also on YouTube. So y'all make sure y'all follow me on all platforms. For those who may have just found me tonight, my name is Keto Coach E. I all things keto. I've been doing the ketogenic lifestyle personally for 4.5 years and probably been teaching it for 4. Right. So I started teaching it right away because it was so beneficial to me. And I have a degree in biology. So I understood the science of it right away. The science of it made sense because I was on a journey to find something where you didn't eat sugar. And that seemed to be pretty impossible. Just to have zero sugar seemed to be pretty much impossible. And I love the ketogenic lifestyle because it had rules to it. And it was decreasing the amount of carbs I took in. It was decreasing the amount of sugar that I took in. And it made sense to me. You know, I'm a basketball coach and a teacher. So rules made sense to me. So I was like, okay, this thing got rules. I can follow those. So I learned the ketogenic lifestyle fairly quickly, and because of my background in biology, and I just started teaching it. In the beginning, I taught it in the background. I just made pictures and posted them on Facebook. And then eventually, really during the pandemic, I just started doing videos of myself and talking and all of the things that I know about the ketogenic lifestyle. So tonight, I'm going to share with y'all my thoughts on cholesterol, because cholesterol seems to be one of those things, y'all. It is one of it's the only thing in the ketogenic lifestyle that someone can pinpoint and say it's not, most of the time, is not going to go down or it's not going to go up. So pretty much with the ketogenic lifestyle, when someone starts keto, 90%, 99%, A1Cs go down like almost immediately. People's A1Cs change almost immediately. People's blood sugar changes almost immediately with the ketogenic lifestyle. So we notice that all of these things happen fairly quickly when individuals start the ketogenic lifestyle. And of course, weight loss. So weight loss happens as well when you start the ketogenic lifestyle. But the one thing that I love to share is that, weight loss is a byproduct of getting healthier. So when we talk about weight loss, we're still talking about the health part of it, because it's just a byproduct of you starting to get healthier, and the weight starts to fall off. So cholesterol is one of those things where some people's goes up, some people goes down. But the problem I have with what we're taught about cholesterol. So hey, Connie, see Connie popping in on the YouTube side, said saying hello to everyone, said trying to be on all platforms. Yes, Connie, you are on all. Connie chimed in on all platforms. I appreciate that, y'all, because that helps to get the message. That helps to get the message out. As much in engagement as we get, it helps. It helps to get the message out. So I appreciate that, Connie. As I always say, Connie's one of our superstars. She's actually the first person I've ever coached to 100 pounds of weight loss. And again, pounds is a byproduct of getting healthier. So that means that all of those things we talked about, the blood sugars and the A1Cs and all of these things, had to come into place in order to have that type of success. So she'll always, as long as I'm on this earth, she will always be known as the first person that I've ever coached to 100 pounds of weight loss. And Ellen, who is here, is like so close to 100 pounds of weight loss that it's like, I think if she sneezes, she'll be at 100 pounds. So so like it's really humbling to know that there's two people that basically what I'm teaching you guys, that have been able to help two people in the last year get over that hump. And that's not even including the people who've lost 80, 50, 60, 70. That's just those two individuals who've reached that big milestone. But there are also individuals who have lost a lot as well. So let me get to the content. I'm doing a lot of talking about me right now. All right. So let's get to the content. Let's talk about cholesterol. So we know about HDL, we know about LDL. So I'm going to dig a lot deeper than that today, because I really want to talk about the true risk factors. So what everyone says is, if you do the ketogenic lifestyle, You said Keto 911 podcast tuning in. I appreciate that. Get me on your podcast. Get me on your podcast. I'm on a I'm on a podcast run right now. I just want to get on everyone's podcast that I can, and just chop it up. Have some keto conversation. So yes, I want to be on the Keto 911 podcast. I'm putting it out there right now. So, when we talk about cholesterol, one of the things that you'll hear is individuals will get high cholesterol when they do the ketogenic lifestyle, which is not 100% true. And the thing is like I said before, and I may have said this before I went live as I was chatting inside my other groups, is that it's like watching a basketball game. And let's say the Los Angeles Lakers are playing the New York Knicks. Now, if the Los Angeles Lakers are playing the New York Knicks, you might say, Coach, like, who won? What was the score? And I'm like, man, they scored 210 points. And you're going to say, they scored 210 points, but like, who won? Like, who scored what? Like, how much did the Knicks have and how much did the Lakers have? How many did LeBron have? I don't even know who plays for the Knicks right now, but how many did the Knicks players have, right? So you would want to know some of the specifics. And at the end of the day, that's what they do with our cholesterol numbers. They give us this lipid panel and they give us the numbers and they say, hey, your total cholesterol is, let's just say 210, just because we said that was the score of the basketball game. It's 210. And it's like, oh, whoa. Well, let's look at the players of the game. Let's look at the total score. How much the LDL have? How much the HDL have? So we have to really look at those things. So I heard someone chime up here on Clubhouse side. So I see Dr. Miller. I'm gonna invite you to speak, and definitely after when we get into the after party, y'all can definitely feel free to chime in over here or after that during the after party. So when we talk about Dr. Mill up here and talking about cholesterol, y'all know y'all better get in here on Clubhouse. If you ain't in here now, you better get in here. So talking about the Clubhouse, I always touch on the LDL and HDL. Now we know that HDL is considered the healthy cholesterol. We know that the LDL is considered the lousy cholesterol. The problem is that most of our medical professionals do not tell us about the non-harmful part of the LDL, or that there is a harmless part of the LDL, because the particle size and the particle density makes a difference, and they don't teach us that. So that's the one thing. That's why you can't just look at total cholesterol. So when we talk about the predictors of heart disease, because that's the fear. Everyone's afraid of the cholesterol because of heart disease. So when we talk about the predictors of heart disease, you can't just look at total cholesterol, because again, if the New York Knicks are playing the Lakers, I don't want to just know the total score of the end of the game. I need to know how many the Knicks had. I need to know how much the Lakers had. I need to know how many LeBron had. I need to know how many some of the Knicks players had. I need to know all of this information, which needs to be given. So there are two types of LDL that are not really talked about. So we have the pattern A, which is the harmless, which I always say is like a beach ball. If someone hits you in the head with a beach ball, you'll just kind of like pop it around, and people will have fun, with the beach ball. But if someone throws a golf ball up in the air and it comes down, which is the pattern B type of LDL, now there's a problem. So the one thing that we have to really to understand is that if you go to get a cholesterol check and it comes back that your total cholesterol is high, it is truly not a predictor of heart disease. So, and that's one of the things that we've been kind of duped on over the years, and that now some of the newer teaching is starting to reveal. And granted, it's slow. And I've heard this before, that usually the medical community is about 10 years behind on these publications. So like if it's being published now, it'll be 10 years from now before it becomes like medical law in a sense, So they're starting to teach it now that the total cholesterol is not the predictor of heart disease. So there've been so many people on statins over the years, and it's like the number one prescribed drug in the US, right, is like a statin drug to bring down cholesterol. And I always say keto is new in the scope of things. Like, I mean, I know it's 100 years old, but in the scope of like using it as a dietary lifestyle, it's rather new. But we know that those statin drugs and things like that. So really, the true danger is having a lower cholesterol. So having a lower total cholesterol is more of a predictor of danger than having a higher cholesterol number. So let's get beyond that. Let's get beyond that part. So Dr. Meal, I see you off mute. Did you want to chime in on that real quick?
No, we were trying to figure out the sound, but we can hear you now.
All right, good, gotcha. All right, so the total cholesterol we have to kind of push to the side a little bit. So the thing that we need to look at more so are the triglyceride numbers. So we need to look at our triglyceride numbers more so than we need to look at the total cholesterol. So the triglycerides are going to be a better predictor of having a heart disease type of issue. So I'm gonna focus in on the things that you should look for if you're looking to see about heart disease. But the one thing about the cholesterol, y'all, again, you have to go away from just looking at total cholesterol. The triglycerides alone are going to be a better predictor of whether you have a risk of heart disease or not. So now they're even teaching that you can do a triglyceride to HDL ratio. You can even do a total cholesterol to HDL ratio. So either of those are going to be a better predictor of your level of risk. So another ratio that I recently learned about is waist to height ratio. This is a bigger predictor of your risk as well. So your waist to height ratio, it's just like it sounds. You're going to take your waist, the inches or centimeters around your waist, and the inches or centimeters high you are. So you're going to have to just pick a unit. So that was always one of my problems in science and math back in the day, is that I would mess my units up. So you got to make sure you pick a unit. It's either got to be centimeters or it's got to be inches. So you can't divide your waist in centimeters and then do your height in inches. So pick one. You're going to do height and waist around your belly button area, and it should be below 0.5. So every point it is above 0.5, that is a better predictor of your risk than, quote unquote, your total cholesterol number, which everyone, I won't say everyone, I don't like to use that word, which a lot of people tend to focus on, especially non-keto people will tend to focus on the total cholesterol number. So again, I've already mentioned that the triglyceride, the elevated triglycerides is the number two thing that would be a bigger predictor. And usually what brings up the triglycerides is sugar, y'all. So sugar is usually what brings up the triglycerides. So if you're doing the ketogenic lifestyle, your triglyceride numbers should be intact. So again, triglycerides are usually increased by sugar intake. So it said, oh man, we got somebody from Ireland in the house. Hey, how you doing? So we got Ireland in the house tonight. So we appreciate you popping in here. Y'all definitely on the TikTok side, tap the screen that lets other people know we're here. So again, another one that you would rather look at is your fasting insulin. So what's your fasting insulin, or let's just say, what's your A1C number? So you want to look at the A1Cs. If your A1Cs are elevated, that is a better indicator of a risk than total cholesterol. So then we want to look at the inflammatory markers, y'all, and then we're gonna get out of here. So inflammatory markers, yeah, it was 0.5 mark, 0.5, below 0.5. So inflammatory markers, you got the CRP. So that is the C-reactive protein. That's one way of checking for inflammatory markers to see the amount of inflammation that you have in the body. The high sensitivity CRP is going to be even more accurate. So if you get that test, that's an even more accurate test. Then you also had the SED rate, which is the ESR test. That is going to test your erythrocytes inside that's basically your red blood cells. So it basically put it in a tube, and it can see how the sedimentation of the red blood cells show in the blood. So basically the blood and the plasma will start to separate, and basically they look at the speed that happens. And sedimentation or sediment, like if you ever learned, rocks in science, and how weathering, creates sediment. You could just imagine it being like something gritty. So sediment means that like the little pieces are kind of falling off. So just imagine that start to settle to the bottom. So they look at the speed that it does that. and that's the ESR, or the sedimentation rate test that they do as well for inflammation. And a lot of these also will let you know whether you got like autoimmune disease or things like that that are also inflammatory inside the body. So last but not least, well, I won't say last but not least, but the C-peptide levels. So you look at the C-peptide levels as well. So the C-peptide levels, the C-peptides are made in the pancreas along with the insulin. So basically, they basically are released at the same time, but the C-peptides hang around a little bit longer than insulin hangs around. So they can go and look at the C-peptide numbers and see how much insulin is being produced. And they can tell whether you are type 1 or type 2 by looking at this C-peptides, because basically if you have zero or low number, I won't say zero, but if you have a low number of C-peptides, then that means you're not producing a lot of insulin, which means that you're probably type 1. But if you're producing a considerable amount, or let's just say a regular amount, or maybe an amount of insulin, then that means that it's just not being used. So that means that your pancreas is producing the insulin but not being used, and they use the C-peptide test to figure that out. And the last but not least is the ferritin levels, the serum ferritin levels. So they look at that, and basically if they're low, then you're known to have like anemia. Higher numbers are known to have like liver disease, and then arthritis and other inflammatory type diseases are what they looking at. So hey, no problem, Mark, I got you. So just to kind of put this out there, because I really have never gone into all of this before, and I really want you to understand that these are bigger predictors of having heart disease risk than total cholesterol, because it seems like that is the thing that especially the anti-keto folks will always jump on cholesterol, which I get it, because that's the only thing people will tend to get. I just looked at my numbers today, y'all, and I'm telling y'all, I got my blood work, and it's like green all the way down the sheet. Like I'm looking at that like man, it's like it's amazing. It's amazing that 4.5 years ago I was overweight, probably considered obese. I'm 6'4", so it was a little bit, I was a little bit more proportion just because of my height. I was pre-diabetic. My blood sugar was high. My blood pressure was high. My A1Cs was high. Like everything was out of whack. So when you look at my numbers now, the only thing that is higher than normal, quote unquote, is my LDL. That's the only thing that's higher than normal. And I need people to understand that if you can take 10, let's just say you go to your medical professional and 10 of your numbers are out of whack, 10 of them, and you start the ketogenic lifestyle, and then you go back to your medical professional, let's just say a year later, 2 years, however long it is that you go back, and now one number is out of whack, and they tend to focus on that one number, that's a problem. That's a problem, because you've been able to take all of these things, and then in my science mind, it doesn't even add up. And I try to stay away from my opinions, because I try to stay away from my opinions when I'm on here. But in my science mind, it doesn't add up, because if all of these other numbers are going in a positive direction, why is this one number going in a different direction? Because based off of all of my research on cholesterol, we have not been taught all of the ins and outs of cholesterol. We have not been taught all the ins and outs of cholesterol. And I learned that most of all when I really started teaching keto, and I started teaching people about HDL and LDL. And I'm like, well, y'all don't know that there's a harmless component to the LDL, that you don't know that like an individual, myself and someone else, can have the exact same cholesterol number and have different level of risk. Like those are the type things that are not necessarily being taught, that I love to teach and make sure that y'all have an understanding of, because I think it's not fair when people just come out and they say negative things about the ketogenic lifestyle and they don't give any context. They don't, and even in a sense, when we go to our doctor and they say, oh, your cholesterol's high, we got to get context. We got to start getting context. And I want y'all to start getting context. I want y'all to start asking about the pattern A's and the pattern B's. That's why I keep educating, because I want you to start asking about it. Because if I have people asking about it and over and over and over and over and over and over again, then over time it will start to change the mindset of medical professionals when it comes to cholesterol, and not only maybe change the mindset, but also maybe say, okay, well, we need to let individuals know whether it's their pattern A or their pattern B. Because here again, you and I could go into a doctor's office and have the exact same cholesterol number and have a different level of risk. And I think it's only right. Let me make sure I plug my phone up. I see we about to go out here. I think it's only right that we're privy to that information as patients or individuals that are concerned about our own personal health. So I think that these are things I really wanted to make sure you understood. And I'll just kind of recap that C-peptide. So you can get those. These are things you should jot down because you can ask your medical professionals about these tests. I didn't write down the NMR, Nancy Mary Robert. So the NMR is the one that will differentiate between the pattern A and the pattern B cholesterol number. So you definitely want to get that NMR. You want to ask about the NMR. So maybe you do have a higher total cholesterol number. Okay. Or maybe you have a higher LDL number. So if you have a higher LDL number, then you can say, hey, well, let's differentiate between the two. Let's differentiate so we can see which ones which number. I was trying to read what Mark says. So he said, how do you calculate height versus weight numbers? I'll no, Mark, it's no problem. So it's going to be the waist divided by the height. So whatever your inches are around your waist divided by your inches. So instead of doing me saying 6'4", I would just do the inches. So I would just do the inches of a person that's 6'4" instead of doing it like in centimeters. So you definitely want to do it that's how you would do it, Mark. So yeah, let me know. It's all about teaching, man. So don't feel bad about asking questions. I'm here to answer questions. It's not about me having some structured live and all of that stuff, because for me, it's about you. It's about you getting what you need to get. So, hey, Coach, sound is out on Clubhouse side. I think that maybe when my phone goes to sleep, I think maybe the sound goes out. So I just came back. So I just came back on the Clubhouse. Maybe we'll see. So I think maybe when my screen goes to sleep, it goes out. Can you hear me now, Dr. Miller?
Yeah, it's back.
Okay,
it's back.
I think that's what it is. I need to get my phone set so that it doesn't go to sleep. So you said, thank you. Divide waist by height. Yes. So yes, Mark, and use inches and or centimeters. So whatever one you pick, use both for use that one for both. So y'all definitely check out the NMR. You want to definitely ask your medical professionals about that. But the true indicators of heart disease are going to be C-peptide. So you look at the C-peptide because that's going to let you know about the insulin that's being produced. Because if you're diabetic, then that's going to increase your risk. So you want to make sure, and you want to see whether you are producing insulin in the way that you're supposed to produce it, and or if it's even working in the way that it should be working. Because I always talk about insulin being the key to open up the door to the cell. And sometimes individuals with type 2 diabetes are producing the insulin, but the key not working. So the key is not actually opening the cell and allowing the cell to deliver the nutrients and the energy to the different parts of the body, to the rest of the body. So therefore, it ends up building up in the blood. So we also look at the ferritin levels. So ferritin levels are another way that you can look at that. So that's something you can ask about as well. If you want to know more about that. So we talk about the waist to height ratio. So looking at the waist to height ratio, it being at 0.5. If it's above 0.5, then you want to work on it. That doesn't mean that sometimes we think about these numbers and we're like, oh man, but we're all working towards something. Even myself, I've been keto for 4.5 years, but it's a journey. There's no destination. There's no destination with this stuff. So it's always going to be a journey. So I've quote unquote gotten my goal weight, but now I want to work on other things. I want to exercise more. I want to build more muscle. I want to do other things. So it's always going to be some growth with this. So don't think that because maybe you check your waist to height ratio and it's not 0.5 that it's over for me. No, it's just that's something that you're going to work towards. It's another measure outside of the scale. So the triglycerides, so elevated triglycerides, that's going to be a better indicator than anything else. You said, so you said 5.9. How do I get my number? I'm not sure what you're asking me, Yadi, but I'll be you can give me more detail when we get to the after party. I know you said 5.9. There should be 0.5 if it's the height to weight. I mean the waist to height ratio. The A1C number is going to be a better indicator as well on whether you have any risk. So I had to come over, Coach. Let allow the phone sleep again. Oh man, it keep falling. I gotta figure out how to say the phone keep falling asleep. I gotta keep tapping the screen over here, yo, because I'm getting so into it. I forget that it's falling asleep over there. So I appreciate those people who hung in there though. So the inflammatory markers, so you're looking at the C-reactive protein, you're going to look at the SED rate or the ESR, which is the erythrocyte sedimentation rate. And erythrocytes are going to be those red blood cells. They're going to look at how they sediment. I don't want to say sedimentate, but how basically they separate from how quickly the blood and the plasma separate, and they basically kind of gather towards the bottom. They look at that rate. The inflammatory markers again. So and then with C-peptide I already talked about. So yes, y'all. So on my YouTube and my Facebook side, y'all, I appreciate y'all. If y'all have any questions, y'all make sure y'all reach out to me, y'all. Y'all make sure y'all reach out. This alarm goes off every week, and every week I say the same thing. So yeah, so there we go. We went to sleep. All right, there we go. We back. So y'all make sure y'all check out the on my platforms in my bio area. You can check those places out. I have free documents for anyone who's new to the ketogenic lifestyle, or maybe you just have been a part of the ketogenic lifestyle and you never got my free document. It has 100 keto swaps. It has 148 item shopping list, and it has 23 frequently asked keto questions. So you definitely want to download that. That is 100% free. Also on my website, promo codes.ketocoache.com. So all things keto, I have promo codes for everything. So you can say, if you're going to buy something keto and you don't go to my page to see if you can't save 10 to 25%, then you just throwing money away. So it's literally a great space. I really want to be like the retail me not of the keto space, so that people know they can go to my page if they're looking for anything keto. It's going to be there. But the one thing I can say is I only put things that I consider to be Keto Coach E approved on that site, because there are some things that that I have promo codes for that I don't post, because I don't want individuals to purchase the wrong things. And when I say the wrong things are going to be conducive to them continuing to have results on the ketogenic lifestyle. So I do pick and choose what I put on there. So when you go to my site, you'll know that you're going to get some of the better items. And then here again, you can't fall in love with a company, because companies will have some items that are good and they will have some items that are bad. So you just got to be mindful of that as well. But definitely go to the site, promo codes.ketocoache.com, or just go to ketocoache.com and go to the promo site page. So all of y'all on TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube, y'all see the Keto versus Cancer shirt that I have on tonight, y'all. So the Keto versus Cancer shirts, this is one of my movements that I've been working on for years, many years. And I have t-shirts and sweatshirts on my site. The pink hoodie is like the most popular one last season. It was the most popular one, but definitely the Keto versus Cancer. And what it does, it helps, because what I do is I take a portion of the proceeds and I give what I call joy gifts to individuals who are going through chemotherapy. That's what I use the t-shirts for. And I say, y'all, my mission is to one day be able to pay rent and pay car notes for individuals, because I saw my mother-in-law as she was going through the breast cancer, and how she had to worry about how these things were going to get paid because she couldn't work. When you're going through chemo, that's one of the things that they try to ask you not to do, is to continue to go to work. So, that's one of the things that I really, really would love to be able to do. So just understand that if you get a Keto versus Cancer shirt, you're supporting a great cause. And take a picture, send it to me so we can post it on the page as well. So thank you all for showing up. My book is on Amazon, the Keto Playbook. So you can definitely get that. And it literally is the playbook for the ketogenic lifestyle. It really runs everything down very simple. I'm a teacher, so I tend to simplify everything. It goes in my ear complicated, and it comes out my mouth simplified. So that's pretty much how I teach, because that's how I was as a student. I had to have it simplified in order for me to understand it. So I teach to the type of student that I was. So I appreciate y'all on the YouTube and Facebook side. Y'all come on over to Clubhouse and over to TikTok for the after party. And let's chit chat and answer some questions. We got Dr. Mila on the Clubhouse side, and she's super duper knowledgeable. And we're talking about cholesterol, which I know is another one of her passion topics as well. So jump on over here, y'all, and ask any questions. And Twiggy said, flip the screen. All right, got it, Twiggy. All right, there we go. So now you can see the book the right direction, right? All right, so all right, y'all. I'll see you guys on the Facebook and the YouTube side. And as always, y'all, I only ask y'all to do one thing, and that's have a great week. So I will see y'all all next Sunday on Facebook and YouTube. Join us for the after party over on Clubhouse and Facebook. See y'all.